Hello, my name is Alejandrina, and I'm going to be presenting on mumps orthorubella, otherwise known as just mumps. I really like this picture here that I have. It's supposed to be like a little Instagram post done by the CDC, and it's a chipmunk and just showing the hallmark symptom of mumps, which is the swelling of the jaw and having puffy cheeks and looking like a chipmunk. It just reminds us that the MMR vaccine is best protection against mumps, which I will talk about later. Taxonomy. The realm is Riboviria, and the family this virus belongs to is the Paramyxoviridae, and the species is M, or mumps, orthorubella. Mumps is a viral illness that is caused by a paramyxovirus, and some relevant paramyxoviruses that we know, just as an FYI, are measles and Newcastle disease and parainfluenza. Mumps is a single-stranded RNA paramyxovirus. Transmission and reservoirs. Transmission is done through airborne transmission or direct contact with saliva or respiratory droplets. Someone who's infected with the mumps virus can transmit the virus by coughing, sneezing, or talking, as in like when you're spitting and you talk and you spit, or sharing items that may have saliva on them, such as straw or utensils, as well as participating in close contact activities such as dancing or sports. The reservoirs are only humans. It's important to note that persons with asymptomatic infection can transmit the virus. Just an FYI. Okay, signs and symptoms. Some basic symptoms of the mumps virus include tiredness, headache, fever, muscle aches, and loss of appetite. Like I said in my first slide, the hallmark symptom is parotitis, and it's just the swelling of one or both parotid salivary glands, which are located in this area here, located in the cheek and jaw area. Some possible complications that can arise from mumps are the inflammation of the testicles. So there was some research done, and you can actually if you get mumps and you have inflammation of your testicles, then you can also potentially lose the chance of fathering a child, which is kind of frightening. So, but there's also inflammation of the ovaries for females, inflammation in the pancreas or pancreatitis, inflammation of the brain, and inflammation of the tissue covering the brain and the spinal cord, which can lead to, which is meningitis. When do the symptoms appear, or the incubation period? The incubation period is 16 to 18 days after you become infected with the virus. However, this period can range from 16 to 25 days after you become infected. History of mumps. So the mumps were first recorded by Hippocrates in the 5th century, around 410 BC, and he described parotitis and orchitis. Parotitis again being the inflammation of the parotid glands, and orchitis, I think I'm saying that right, is the inflammation of the testicles. So I'm just going to read a little bit of what he said or wrote. Swelling appeared about the ears and many on either side, and in the greatest number on both sides. And again, they were of a lax, large, diffused character, without inflammation or pain, and they went away without any critical sign. So that's just a few of the phrases or what he wrote in his description of mumps. And moving forward to 1934, Ernest Goodpasture and Claude Johnson were the first to show that mumps virus could be transmitted from an infected patient to monkeys. They also showed that the mumps virus was caused by a filterable agent present in the saliva. And then before the introduction of the vaccine, in which the vaccine program for mumps started in 1967, Mumps was one of the most common causes of aseptic meningitis, which I said was one of the complications that can arise from the contracting mumps, and the sensorineural hearing loss or deafness in the United States. The MMR vaccine. So MMR stands for measles, mumps, and rubella. According to the CDC, the MMR vaccine is the best way to prevent mumps and the complications that can arise from it. There are 2 doses of the vaccine. If you only receive 1 dose, then you are 78. Then it's the vaccine. Sorry, it's effective at preventing the disease for about 78% effective. And then if you receive both, then it's 88% effective at preventing the disease. Some people are recommended to receive a 3rd dose of the vaccine, but these people are typically just the people who are at increased risk at acquiring the mumps virus due to an outbreak in the area or where they live. However, if you're not part of this group of people, it's not recommended that you receive that 3rd dose. This group of people can include college students because mumps virus is easily transmitted in close living quarters or such as like the dorms or even in like a close workspace. The MMR vaccine autism controversy. We talked about this in class, so I'm just going to name or just state a couple of facts or just a quick timeline of the controversy. So 1998, Andrew Wakefield, which is this guy here, published a research paper in the Lancet medical journal claiming that there's a link between the MMR vaccine and the development of autism and some bowel problems. However, in 2009, the U.S. court refutes the claim of autism. So it's important to note that it's not the Supreme Court who refutes this claim. It's a court which is its nickname is Vaccine Court, established by the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986, and basically it's a court that deals with claims or potential injuries that can arise from vaccines but they claimed that they refuted the claim that autism arises from vaccines. And then in 2010, Wakefield research is dismissed as dishonest, and Lancet, the medical journal, retracts his research paper on this subject. The occurrence of mumps. So in this picture right here to the right, it's showing the 6 regions of the World Health Organization. So as you can see, it's mostly prevalent in the Western Pacific. Just these countries include, or this area includes countries like China, Australia, and New Zealand, just to name a few. But as you can see, the Americas, it's quite low. It's in the black, and there was a spike in 2006, 2007, 2008, and then once again in 2018 and 2019, which I will talk about in my next slide, I think. But before the MMR vaccine, most children contracted the mumps virus by the time they had reached adolescence. After 1967, when the vaccine program started in the U.S., the mumps cases dropped by 99%. However, like this little map here or chart shows, ever since 2006, there has been an increase of mumps cases throughout the United States, and it's a whole other deal. But this is here in the left. This picture is reported cases of mumps as of April 29th, 2022. And it's just present in 35 cases that are present in the total cases are in 17 jurisdictions of the United States. Recent outbreaks. So, there was a recent outbreak of 2018 at Harvard, and this reached a lot of this reached the news. It was a big deal. So I just have a little quote here. A mumps outbreak at Harvard University that began in early March has climbed to 41 cases as of Thursday and could impact the school's graduation. So Harvard was not the only university to have contracted or show cases. Boston University was one of them. University of Massachusetts and Tufts University were also part of that, which are all in the same area. The treatment for mumps. Treatment is very limited for mumps. It typically just involves medicine for the pain, plenty of fluids, and bed rest. Especially those first couple of days, you start showing symptoms of mumps. If you can track the mumps virus, you should stay at home, ideally in your own room where you're not having contact with other people, sort of like the treatment for COVID-19, and just to avoid the spread of the contagious disease. So stay at home for adults 5 days after swelling appears and until symptoms have lessened for children. And this is the end of my presentation. These are my sources, and thank you, and see you guys in class.